Hi, I am Kevin Shaji, and now I am planning to take videos on direct taxation. This is based on syllabus of intermediate of CA Chartered Accountancy. So I will be making a video of 15 to 20 minutes. So it will not be a long video, and will be covering 2-3 topics. On a particular video, will be covering 2-3 topics. So this is my first video on direct taxation. So I am going to cover the first chapter, that is the basic concepts. I will be covering from ICA study material because it is highly recommended for ICA study material for learning. And this all these videos have been posted on YouTube. So you can see all the videos. If you like the video, please subscribe it, and please share the videos also. So let's start. The first chapter is basic concepts. So, what is this? This is the fourth paper. So, in CA/IPCC or intermediate, this is a new syllabus is intermediate. We have 8 papers, and one of the paper is taxation. Taxation is divided into 2 parts: direct taxation and indirect taxation. Direct taxation is 60 marks, and indirect taxation is 40 marks. So, let's look at what is the syllabus of direct taxation. Direct taxation. It contains, if I tell the syllabus now, it won't be much, since we are learning in basis, I won't be much interesting. Just I will tell our direct taxation is done through 5 heads. That is, these 5 heads are salary, house property, income from business or profession, capital gain and other sources. And these 5 heads it will be the first part along with exemption and basic concepts, and the second part will be deduction and other things like filing of return, etc. will be the second part of the syllabus. So let's start now. So here, first of all I should introduce myself. I am Kevin Shaji. I am a chartered accountant and have completed my chartered accountancy 1 year before. Now I am employed in a private company. That's it. So let's start. So the first item, what is taxation? Government requires money for functioning. What the government should do, how government should do their duties. What are the duties? Their duties is providing infrastructure facilities, providing basic facilities such as education, healthcare, and many other things. Many other things includes all the things like there are so many schemes of government. Say like for removing poverty, we have Mahatma Gandhi New Rural Employment Generation Schemes. Many things are there. All these are done with the help of money. They need money for all these activities. So from where they get the money? Will they print the money? No, they won't. They print the money based on the based on the production of the nation. If they start printing money for all the requirement, what will happen is inflation will skyrocket, and it will be. There's a country called Zimbabwe where money is available in plenty, but commodities are not available. If you want to buy even a single pen, you need to take a huge amount of money just to buy a single amount of pen. Because what the government did is, the government printed money for their requirement. That is not a solution. So, government requires sources of income, and one of the sources is taxation. In India, we have two types of taxation: direct taxation and indirect taxation. What is direct taxation and what is indirect taxation? Direct taxation is we are taxing directly, and indirect taxation we are taxing indirectly. This is what we get from the name. So how we tax directly and how we tax indirectly, I will just explain. I am an employee. I get salary. Then that salary, if it is taxed, that is direct taxation. Means when I make income, and that income, if it is taxed, that is the income of my personal income is taxed. So that is direct taxation. What is indirect taxation? Indirect taxation means, I'll give you indirect taxation means person who gets income is not taxed, but the person who spends income will be taxed. I'll give an example. I produces goods. I produces goods and I sell goods. When I sell goods, what I do? I will collect the price of the material. I will not just collect the price of the material, but I also will collect tax. That is VAT. Currently it is GST. We will collect the GST amount along with the price of the material. This price is actually paid not by me but by my customer. My customer pays the money to me. So that is indirect taxation. So that's a basic difference between direct taxation and indirect taxation. Direct taxation means person who earns money pay tax. But indirect taxation means the person who spends money pay tax. That is the difference between direct taxation and indirect taxation. That is very simple explanation for direct taxation and indirect taxation. So let's see, direct taxation means tax levied directly on the income or wealth of a person. Now there is no concept of wealth taxation. Recently in newspaper I have seen that some income tax officials have thought of reintroducing wealth taxation. This wealth taxation was there earlier, but that is defining wealth of a person is very difficult. Also it results in unwanted litigation, all these problems. So government decided we will not tax wealth, we will tax income. We will tax income, that is income taxation, or we have income tax, that's it. Direct taxation is only income tax, there is no other tax. We don't have tax on wealth. Earlier there was tax on wealth, and that's why in this definition we are telling that it is tax on income or wealth. In India, the central government is having the authority to pay, collect direct taxation. Central government can collect direct taxation. Actually, it's not some state government is also having right to collect tax, direct tax on income from agriculture. Government did not do it because it is agricultural income, farming is necessity. So even the state government is having the power to tax on agriculture, state government will not do. So technically only central government will collect tax in India. And indirect tax, earlier state government is having the power to collect tax. So even indirect tax, state government is having the right to collect tax on goods and central government is having the right to collect tax on services. This was the law earlier. Now GST has come. GST has come. When GST has come, state government has ceded the right for taxing on goods. That is by a constitutional amendment. So now the situation now is GST is taxed on goods and service. On goods we tax, on service also we tax. And the tax is equally divided between the state government and central government. So if you go and purchase some material from the shop, you will pay both CGST or central goods and service, central GST and state GST. So it typically means you are paying goods tax to the central government as well as state government equally. And that's what is simply indirect taxation. We have GST is not sole indirect tax. We have excise. Even now there is excise, but that is limited to some alcohol and all. We have tax on state is having tax, the right to tax on petroleum products and all. And even now customs is, there is another tax called customs. Customs is a tax on import and export. Export normally government will not tax except for certain rare goods. Import will tax because government's policies, we need to discourage imports, but we need to encourage exports. Why? When we encourage exports, we will get foreign exchange, and that is required for purchase of petroleum and such things. So government encourages exports. So there is no tax for exports normally. I am not telling for it entirely there is no tax. There are items which are taxed, but normally for exports there is no tax. And also government gives some incentive for export, that is another thing. For import we tax. That is a difference, that is what is customs. Customs is a little different. So customs and GST, excise, etc. are indirect taxation, and now we are covering direct taxation. Now this next question in the textbook is, why is tax levied? Government wants fund for doing their business, their activities, and that's why they collect tax. What are the activities? There can be education, there can be healthcare, there can be infrastructure development, there can be various other things. So power to levy tax. Power to levy tax is given in Constitution. I just explain the basic idea of constitution. Constitution says a union list, a state list, and concurrent list. Union list is a list in which union, central government is having authority. State list is a list in which the state government is having authority. And concurrent list is another a list in which both state government and central government will do the same thing. Will do things together. That is what is concurrent list. Normally many things are with the central government, many things are with state government, and still income tax is with the central government. That is what, since we are taking income tax, so it is simply we can say that income tax is the with whom? With the central government. Components of income tax. Income tax, what are the components? Components of income tax includes, first of all, Income Tax Act. In 1961, they passed an act called Income Tax Act 1961. Along with that, they passed many rules. That is income tax rules. Then we have every year we pass Finance Act. What is this Finance Act? Finance Act is actually at the time of February, the Finance Minister will prepare a budget, and the budget will become an act, and that is Finance Act. It contains so many things, but for our information, it contains certain amendments in taxation also. That will be in every Finance Act is also part of the taxation. So, what do you call the finance? Just for giving an example, our examinations on May and November. For example, May 2020 and November 2020 covers what? It covers Finance Act 20's amendments. Finance Act 20 means the amendment that is passed in the it is wrong. Amendment that is passed in Finance Act 2019 will be covered in this May and 19 attempt. Why? May and 19 syllabus of May and 19 covers assessment year 2020-21. That is regarding previous year financial year 1990. Sorry, financial year 1920. It's getting confused. I am getting confused. It's very simple. I will cover it later. There is a very good explanation. What is assessment year? What is previous year, etc. Later concepts, and I'll just explain that time. Okay. Simply, just tell very briefly. This year income will be assessed next year. Even though we pay tax this year itself, we pay advance tax. We pay. Some people will collect TDS from us directly. That is another thing. So we pay tax. Some people will collect tax from us. That is known as TDS and TCs also. All these things will happen this year itself, but assessment will be done the next year. So this is assessment year 2021, and we will be assessing previous year 1920. That is simply what is previous year assessment year. I will explain it later on. Okay. Now, income tax. What I am taking. What are the components of income tax now? Components of income tax includes Income Tax Act, rules, income tax rules, and Finance Act. Then government will issue so many circulars and notifications. The circular notification is having some legal validity. Circular is like clarification. Actually, it's a clarification given to the department. But we also will have. But we can. It is not having much legal validity, especially if it is negative to the assessee. And last one is case laws, legal decision, etc. The Supreme Court decisions and all is actually part of taxation laws. Income Tax Act 1961. It came to force in 1st April 1962, and it has up to 298 sections. It is very long, very interesting. We will be covering all these things. Just I will be covering up the basic things. And the next one is Finance Act. As I have explained, every year on budget they will be passing Finance Act. It contains 3 parts. Schedule 1 specifies the rate applicable in the current financial year. Schedule 2, sorry, it's not Schedule 2, Part 1. Schedule in part is different. Part 1 tells a tax rate in the current year. Part 2 says for salaried person what is the tax TDS amount, that is to be telling in part 2. And part 3 is agricultural incomes. The agriculture, I have to tell one thing. Agricultural income is not taxable. I told earlier, by the central government. But certain agricultural income is certain, like rubber, coffee, tea. Government told that this is partly agriculture, partly business. So government told us some part will tax. That is coming in part 3. I'm extremely sorry. That is coming in part 4. Part 1 is rate of tax, that I told correctly. Part 2 is TDS rates. No, yeah, T-tax for current financial. What are the tax TDS rates? Part 3 is salary TDS, and for part 4 is agricultural income thing. All these things will be covered later. This time just for brief explanation and all. Now I just told income tax rule is supporting act, and who is making income tax rule? CBDT is empowered to make rules. They will be making the rules, and that rule is normally called as income tax rule. Circular is also issued by CBDT, but that is not having much legal validity. It is actually issued to government employees, for employees per information, but normally we can take benefits out of it. That is a different thing. Then notification. What is notification? This notification is having some legal validity. Notification is issued by central government to give effect to the provisions of Act. CBDT is also empowered to make the provisions of Act by issuing notification. And case law. Case law means High Court. There are two High Court decisions are applicable. When the High Court takes a decision, normally that will be enforced in that state in which the High Court has made decision. But Supreme Court decision is there. Supreme Court decision means it is like decision of an entire country. So especially this is applicable, especially when there are multiple High Court tells multiple things. Then in that situation, you should follow what the High Court of that country or what that state tells, that you should be followed. And if suppose you are you are in a state which none of the High Court has told nothing, and you are High Court of other states has told something, mostly the decision CBD appellate tribunal or the decision appellate authorities will consider the decision and take the decision appropriately. Levy of tax. Income of the previous year is taxed on assessee. Who is an assessee? Assessee is a person, any individual or HUF or any other. There are so many lists there that I will tell. Assessee can be anything. We will just keep assessee earns income in the year. That will be taxed, and that will be assessed in the next year. That is what simply we will be telling. Levy of taxes. Income tax levied on total income of the previous year of every person. A person includes, who is a person? Person includes individual, HUF, IOP, association of person, body of individuals. There is a separate definition for it, firm, company, etc. Total income and tax payable. Total income is computed as per the income tax. So, for example, if a company earns a net income of if you see profit and loss account, we have gross, GP, NP, gross profit, net profit. Are we taxing on the net profit? No. We have making so many adjustments on the net profit, and after the adjustment we will pay tax. So that what adjustments we make, that will be covered in a separate head called income from profits and gains of business operation. That will be covering later on. And later, so this is covered here. Then we will be covering what is the residential status. The residential status I will not cover now because there are separate chapters for it. The next chapter, the chapter 2 is covering residential status. Just I will tell there are 3 residential status: resident and ordinary resident, resident and not ordinary resident, and non-resident. What is this? I will explain later. I think I am overloading because so many things I am not covering now. I am telling I will be covering later because that will be covered in detail in the next coming chapters. That's why I am telling like that. Please, we will be covering that later. Okay. I explained earlier that there are so many heads of income. There are not so many heads of income, there are 5 heads of income. One is salary, one is house property, one is profit and gains of business or profession, one is capital gain, and one is income from other sources. These things we will be covering on their respective chapters. Okay, I'm just covering up what all things are there in the what all. This is just overview of the syllabus. Okay. For each head, we will be computing this income. Clubbing, that is also covering in the later chapters. At the end of the chapters, we have 5 chapters for this heads of income. After that, we will be having deduction. After that, only we will be covering clubbing of income. Clubbing of income means what? Simply, some other person income will be clubbed on my head. Maybe my children's income, my spouse income, all things will be coming into my head on certain situations only. That situations will be covered in the respective chapters. Next heading is set off and carry forward and set off of losses. I can suppose I have income from salary. I told there are 5 heads: salary, house property, income from profits and gains, business profession, capital gain, and other sources. Suppose I have income from one source, that is salary. I have another source, loss. Set off means I can adjust between these two things. Means one head loss can be set off against other. Carry forward means I can carry to the next year. This also will be covered later. Everything I am telling this because there is, for every provision there is separate chapters. That's why I am telling you this. We will be covering on the respective areas. I am just giving a brief idea of syllabus. Computation of gross total income. That is after the we will be covering. I told there are 5 heads of income. We will be computing for each head what all the income. Then we will be computing the total income. That total income will be after computing total income we will compute deduction and reduce this deduction. Like that we will compute the gross total income. The gross total income is not before deduction is gross total income. After gross total income we will get taxable total income. Yeah, this is a very good chart. Deduction from gross total income. There are so many things. This and all will be covering later. I'm not covering now. I will be covering this later because there is a separate chapter for each and every provisions, and I don't find a reason why we should cover now. That's why. So this step 8 is total income. So this is this chart gives a basic idea of what we are going to do. First we will find out whether the person is resident or non-resident. Who is a resident, who is non-resident, we will cover later. Just I will give brief idea. A person who stays in India for 182 days or more, there are so many conditions. This is not the only condition, but just a basic idea. If a person is staying here in India for a long period of time, he will consider as a resident. If he is a resident in India, we will be computing the entire income earned by him, including income from every country which he had business, everything. So the global income will be taxable if he is a resident and ordinary resident. Okay, we will cover it later. Just a basic idea I am just telling. Non-resident means he will be taxed only on the portion of income which is taxed which is made in India. I make some income in India, that portion only I will tax you. Also that is subject to various double taxation agreements that also we will cover later. Next one is classify income under. We will classify income under 5 heads. I told salary, income from house property, profits and gains of business or profession, capital gains, income from other sources. Then we will be computing deduction. There is section 80. There are so many section 80C, 80D. All these very interesting sections. So that will be covering that portion. That simply it will be including like LIC. It will be LIC premium. It will be included PPF, pension also. Pension is having separate section. PPF stands for Provident Fund. That is a voluntary provident fund. There is a public provident fund. There are so many provident funds that for each there is separate tax treatment. Then we have insurance on health. Then we have education deduction on educational loan interest. So many things like that. That also will be covering. That is deduction. Then clubbing provision will apply. Clubbing provision I told. Some other person income will be taxed on my head. That is clubbing provision. Set off and carry forward I just told. Set off and carry forward means I can set off between this income and I can carry forward. That is also is there. Then we'll commit gross total income. Deduction I told earlier. We'll commit total income. Now application of weight of tax on total income. Then next step is we'll be computing. After computing total income, we'll be taxing them. How to tax them? For individual, taxing is different. For company, taxing is different. For partnership firm, taxing is different. For AOP, LLP, AOP and BOI, taxation is different. And for LLP is almost similar to partnership. So for each entities, there is a separate slab. Separate slab will be provided in Finance Act. Also, slab will be based on other sections also. Say that will be covered. That is a separate. That from actually this chapter, the real chapter starts now. I just gave a brief introduction of the syllabus. Thank you. I hope this video will be interesting and helpful for preparation of your intermediate courses. Thank you very much.